Well, Happy New Year, everyone. It's the first episode in 2026. And I thought it'd be a great idea to start off with Suzanne, who we've had before. She's the genius and social media expert from The Generator here in Hamilton. She's also the co-founder of Fempreneurs, which is all-female entrepreneurs, also here in Hamilton. And Suzanne, welcome to the show and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thanks for having me again, Alex.
I was very excited since our last episode together, which I encourage everyone who hasn't seen it to go and watch. I've learned so much. One of the big things that we talked about was also how you use video and how important video is to use in today's social media. But it spawned a lot of other questions. And so we're just going to plow through some of these questions. And my first question that I have asked, because I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn and YouTube, and I wanted to know, is Threads really effective? And is there another strategy we should be using for Threads that's different than what we're posting on Instagram?
I like to think of Threads as a nice little replacement for Twitter, actually, because it does give you that ability to put a link directly to your website or to an article or whatever, which Instagram does not allow. So it does give you that extra functionality. So yeah, you should sort of repurpose your content a little bit if you're using the same content from Instagram right over onto Threads. So it seems to be a little bit more community oriented in the way that Twitter used to be, where you could talk to people locally and that kind of thing. So I think it does have some different functions and some benefits that maybe Instagram doesn't have. So I'm pretty excited about it. They just released analytics for it as well pretty recently, so you can start to measure some of these things as well, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so I've seen some people have some good results with it because it's early on. You can kind of jump on there and there's a lot of people on it now, but you can still be one of the first who are really engaging on it and, build it that way.
And would you say that Threads is kind of a response to X? And do you think that you get a different type of person on Threads, or is it just kind of an extension of Instagram?
It's definitely a response to the dumpster fire that is X, which I still kind of refuse to call X. I just say Twitter. Thinking of Twitter, the good old days. Twitter. I still have hopes that someday somebody else will buy it and it will return to its former glory. But anyway, now we have Threads. So yeah, definitely they did jump on that really quickly. They Instagram, Meta, whoever released it without it being perfect. It was a little rusty at the beginning there.
Yep.
They really have put a lot of work into it, so I think it's become a pretty good platform.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And is it a big variance between Blue Sky? How would you differentiate those two?
I think the people who gravitated to Blue Sky were the ones who really want to use X or whatever in the way that they used to, that very community oriented, like sharing knowledge and positivity and that kind of thing. That's what you see on Blue Sky, and it's a nice environment for sure. It doesn't really have maybe quite the mass yet, but it is a nice environment.
And do you think businesses should be on Blue Sky and Threads? Are they missing out on something?
Blue Sky doesn't really have the tools to measure your success there yet, but definitely if you have the time to do it, I'd be on as many platforms as you can.
Yeah.
And there comes time where you're like, oh, this would really be more of a Blue Sky kind of opportunity, and then you're on it, use it. For some businesses, it gets a little unwieldy to try to be on everything all the time. So,
and that's where I do find the challenge is I hear certain people say that you should be on, like, go to the extreme, Gary Vaynerchuk, who thinks you should be on everything and just post all the time. I sometimes feel, though, that he doesn't understand that not everyone has his energy. And B, sometimes, like, what I found is, like, we raised our kids while we were running our business. And I just found that that was different than someone who he was able to launch a platform kind of before he started that family. And so is
Mhm.
there, with limited time, I've always suggested to people that they should just pick one or two and go really hardcore into those ones. What's your advice on that?
Yeah, and I think, sometimes this advice out there can just make people feel so overwhelmed and bad about what they're doing that they just do nothing, which is way worse. And I
Right.
think that people should do what they can actually do sustainably, for the long haul. If you're like, I can only post 2 times a week, and that's all I can afford to do. Like, I know my time, whatever. That's great. Like, post 2 times a week, but try to really stick to that 2 times a week and have a schedule and come up with a plan about your content so you're not just like last minute trying to come up with some, flimsy sort of content. If you plan it out a little bit more about the types of things that you want to post about, then that's a great strategy. And
Yeah, and that's what you do at the
and
generator for your clients. You give them the strategy.
exactly, yeah. We for most of our clients, we're coming up with a strategy with them. We collaborate on that, and then we also execute on it as well. We're shooting video and photos and everything, and posting it for them.
Yeah, nice. Now, I've always
Mhm.
wondered this because I've heard it from people who I think give good advice and people who I think I don't really agree with or on the opposite side of what this. Does a good looking feed on Instagram actually matter?
It doesn't, and I know, like, some graphic designers and stuff will probably kill me for saying that, but, like, I've seen too many people really paint themselves into a corner of having this perfect feed of, "These are my colors, it has to look like this, I only film here, I only take pictures here," whatever. Like, what happens if something exciting happens that you wanna share and it doesn't fit into that mold? Like, then yeah, I guess you could put it in stories, but, like, sometimes you just want to have the freedom to be able to use your feet a little more naturally, I think. So I think that's the danger of really going hard on that sort of look for your feet. Also, I think people don't realize, like, they don't, your audience doesn't go and check out your feed all the time to see if it all matches, wherever. They're just seeing your posts come up. It's definitely good if it's branded in a way that they can tell it's you right away. That's not a bad thing.
Hmm.
But I think you can do that without being too painted into a little box for sure. But all that being said, the most beautiful content is not necessarily going to get you the best results. And it's like the content and the quality of that content in the sense that of how interesting it is to people. That is everything. And we just see that more and more and more. And people put out like complete terrible quality videos or whatever, but if it's fantastic, interesting content, then it's going to do great. And so
Yeah.
that's just the nature of social media.
Oh, I agree. I remember trying to get my feed to look pretty, and the thing is, I'm not a graphic designer, so I don't have that eye, and for me, it just seemed to add extra pressure to post on social that I was doing, like you said earlier, the worst thing, which is not posting at all. But I do
Yes.
see that a lot of experts kind of do that. Now, one thing that I do notice that a lot of people make the mistake of is they don't have a robust profile kind of view of terms of taking somewhere to your website or having
Mm.
all the information that they need. And what would you say in that regards is really the most important thing to have when someone does go to your profile? What are some key markers for people to put in?
The profile is like so, so important. And this is where I kind of tell people to be on all the platforms just to have the profile. Even if you're not
Right.
posting, like people will find you there somehow. So, your website, if you don't have a website there, like, you're just missing a huge opportunity, and a lot
Yeah.
of people don't do if you don't have a website, you're using another platform, like, put your other platform that's your main platform then into your profile, like, link for all of your all the different platforms you're on,
Yeah.
for sure. Like, if YouTube that you wanna drive people to, put that everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So that's huge. And then I think being pretty standard with your name, your business name, or your name, or whatever you're using. Often you'll see people using that different handles, different places. It's a bit of a branding nightmare for sure.
Yeah.
And then, very clear and concisely what you're about, and not just bringing weird different things on platforms, I think is important as well.
Yeah. Now, do you think that being verified adds any value for the business owner? I've wrestled with this one too.
Okay, well, let me tell you a little story about that because I recently
Perfect.
had to verify all my accounts because I got booted off Facebook and everything. So, in order to make sure that this didn't happen again, I've verified my account. So it basically you just get a better level of service from Meta for doing it,
Hmm.
and you get the nice little mark that makes it look like maybe you're special.
Yeah, yeah.
um, However, I was at a networking event and somebody was wanting to follow me. So we were looking at her phone and going through, she was typing in the generator CA to find me. And, it popped up right at the top. And she just kept scrolling and like looking for it. I'm like, no, 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 there it's at the top. And she's, oh, I saw the blue check mark and I just skipped over it because I figured it wouldn't be you. Because she associates blue check mark with like Amazon and Walmart and giant companies, right?
Right.
So that was a very interesting real like time example of how people are perceiving that blue check mark.
Interesting.
Food for thought
Yeah.
for people considering it.
I mean, that I would never even have occurred to have thought of that. I guess maybe they thought it was kind of like the ads on Google that everybody skips over and goes
Yes.
right below. So it's kind of on that kind of, oh wow, that's something I never even thought about. So that's good to know. So is your
Yeah.
security better with the blue check mark then? Less chance of being hacked, less does that get included?
Well, I'll let you know if I get hacked again. I'm not totally like my faith in Meta has been very shaken after that whole experience of losing my account and everything. And basically it's happening because they're replacing so many staff like actual humans with AI. And AI will just flag and delete your account without, it has no empathy, no checking, making sure like it's just like boom, done. And like there's no humans to really talk to unless you have the blue check mark verified thing, then you sort of get a little bit more access to a real person. So yeah, that's sort of the situation now. And it's probably just going to get worse, I would think.
Hmm.
Hopefully, AI gets better at determining who deserves to get the chop.
Well, I mean, I've advised lots of businesses, and to be honest, even before AI, Instagram was pretty ruthless with kicking people off in many ways. I remember I was advising a company that did huge volume of used clothing and used high-end purses and high-end women's shoes, and they lost their account for copyright infringement because they were using brand names in their business model, or sorry, in their posts and as their business
Hmm.
model. And Instagram at that time was like, nope, not going to do it. And that's just not even the people out there who are trying to scam and get your
Hmm.
username and password. That's Instagram themselves who, so there are some, hopefully that blue check mark can take a little bit of that away and push the AI to the others. But at the end of the day, it is still another cash grab from Instagram.
Absolutely, it is. Yes, yes. I'm sure that the plan is to try to get everybody on a subscription basis, like basically using.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Now, with hashtags, I've recently Instagram said that 3 hashtags are really the best amount. What is a good hashtag strategy that you guys use that you can share? And what are 3 things that people don't really know about hashtags or misuse hashtags?
So hashtags, if we talk about specifically about Instagram, Facebook, they are pretty much dead at this point. Like they're
Okay.
trying to phase them out.
Yeah.
So they've limited it to like I think they said three, but I think it's actually five. You can still actually put in there. But what I found is like if they're telling you that this is what they're doing, don't try to fight it. Do what they are wanting you to do. If you want your stuff to be seen by more people, which is they're talking about keywords. And it used to be that, to have to search, you'd have to put in a hashtag, but now it's the AI functionality and the search functionality is so much better. And on Google, even you can search Instagram copy. And so just put the words that you want in your copy as search functionality so that even if it's not in your actual like little blur,
Mhm.
just put some extra keywords at the bottom that if you want to reach different people.
Oh, that's good.
That's how,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so that's been true for Facebook for a while, and now definitely for Instagram. Threads still has a little bit of a hashtag functionality where you put in one hashtag and it kind of categorizes it that way, so it makes it easy. So there, you might still want to use one. To me, I would use like Hemont or something if I want to be local. So yeah, LinkedIn, I still will use it once in a while. If I feel like there's something missing from the copy that I really want to make sure people from this industry or something will see the post.
Yeah. Usually with LinkedIn, I don't know what it is. It's just me, but when I see hashtags on LinkedIn, they seem out of place. They don't, even though
Yeah,
I still do. Yeah,
you don't want a big bunch of hashtags at the end, like on any platform. I think that's just very out, and people realize like it just looks kind of desperate, right? I'm trying to reach anybody. Please see
that's
my post.
that's exactly how I see it. That's good to know. Yeah, good copywriting is people overlook that for social media is still true to have good copywriting. And it's a
Yeah.
skill that I think every business owner should work on, even if you have a copywriter, but I think it's a great way to communicate what you're doing. And that's what social media is. Really, at the end of the day, it is communicating your brands, your service, your products to people and being able to talk about it. Earlier you had mentioned that it's a good strategy to post twice a day, or sorry, twice a week if that's all you have the time for.
Yeah.
Is posting way more always better? Because I hear that about mainly TikTok. I don't know why, but TikTok terrifies me. It's just that's the one thing that I'm just like, I don't want to go there. But I feel that it is where a lot of people are. It is obviously, I think, the number one platform right now still in terms of engagement. But it says that like to get any sort of traction on TikTok, you need to be posting 3 to 5 times a day. Is posting more better?
So TikTok may be a little bit different in that everything's a video.
Hmm.
So just this, you're really scrolling a lot on TikTok. Like not interested, not interested. You can tell by the first 2 seconds of a video, right? So in order to be seen, you do have to put a lot of content out. If you're a huge brand, um, yeah, like I'm thinking, okay, I follow a lot of cat video stuff on TikTok because
I
I love
follow dog
cats.
videos. That's funny.
Well, like you get so much garbage in there, but as soon as you see like, oh, there's Nimbus, the Siberian cat, and what's he doing now? Like, and like literally, they must be putting out 3 times a day. I don't know. I actually haven't really checked to see how often they're posting, but I just see that content constantly, and it keeps it up top of mind. There's Nimbus again. There's Nimbus again.
Mhm.
So I can see how that strategy would be really work. I mean, it's fine if that's all you do all day is take videos of your cat. Like that's doable. But for anyone running an actual business, like creating that much content is just impossible unless you're paying somebody. But then you're paying them tons of money, and I just can't see how that's at all sustainable for a business.
Yeah. What are some
It's just
businesses that you would recommend not be on TikTok?
oh I can't stand seeing businesses who are forcing themselves into this little pigeonhole trying to fit into that TikTok world. Um, Acting out stuff and whatever. And it's just like, you're not actually representing your brand in the slightest right now.
Right.
You're like, it's bad and it doesn't, you're wasting a lot of time basically trying to just fit into TikTok. And TikTok is very global. It doesn't always work on a local scale in the way of that, like actually bringing customers to you. For
Mm,
some, it does. Some
yeah.
it works great. I see others where if it's not working. but you're forcing yourself to do it. I know people know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, if you have that feeling, like just don't force it. Work with the platforms that work for your business and bring you customers.
I find a lot of real estate is good for TikTok. They seem to have, because they
Yeah.
always have listings in movies and houses, videos, and
Yeah.
it's easier to do for that industry than say for another industry. And
Mhm.
that's what I find the most challenging is just I can't do the cringe. I know some people can, but I just can't do it. But I am learning
Mhm.
how to get stronger on video and trying to. I bought a gimbal, so I want to really force myself to be much more present on video. I hate it with a passion, and I enjoy talking to people, but it's really hard to talk to just a camera. Like it really becomes challenging. I'll talk your ear off if you're in the room, but what are tips you can give people for talking to the camera and talking to their customer? Just imagine their ideal customer and just they're right in front of them.
If you can get an actual person that you know, family or whatever, to just be on the other side of the camera, if that makes it easier, that would probably be helpful. It's definitely practice, though. Like at first, it just feels so forced and horrible, but then you get
Yeah,
used to it. So practice, definitely, and yeah, find little tricks that make it easier for yourself, whether it's talking to somebody or a lot of times when I do videos with clients, I'll do off camera sort of interview style, if so they're not staring at the camera. Because for some people, that is like now all they can hear is themselves talking in their head.
right.
It just makes it immediately, you can just tell that that's what they're doing. So,
Mm.
yes, eye contact, interview style, if that's something that work for you.
Something something I learned from your videos actually is just I like how you're very succinct. You're right to the point. There's not a lot of fluff. Do you
Mhm.
plan them ahead of time, or are you much more off the cuff type person just because you've done this for so long?
I'm not great at talking on video. I still have way more practice to do. I usually will talk and talk and talk until I start to feel comfortable and then I edit it. I just edit like crazy, but like, yeah, you only have a few seconds to get somebody's attention. So,
Mm,
the first part, can't be, I'm Suzanne, I'm from the generator, I do this, I do that. Like you've lost people already. It's like you need to get to the heart of what your video is about. How is this interesting to me in some way? What problem are you solving? What are you showing me that's cool? Whatever. It just needs to get right to the point.
yeah, it's funny. Back in early 2000, I used to do guitar competitions, and one of the key sage advice is like you need to lure your listener in with the first at that time in 2000, the first 10 seconds. Now it's like
Yeah.
3 seconds. It's we need it right now. But I appreciate that because it saves everyone time. But that's
Mhm.
I don't want to hear long intros and things, and not that I'm like short attention span. It's just I don't see any value in it. It's much better to just
Mhm.
be like, okay, I'm here to help you, and here's how I'm going to help you.
Yes,
Super fast.
exactly. Yeah.
Who is on Facebook now? Is Facebook dead? You hear all these things. I always post to it. I still like Facebook, but what's going on with them right now?
So definitely Facebook has changed a ton. You don't see people posting sort of personal content and stuff nearly as much as they used to be. But the people who are on it are like the most engaged people of all. And I think there are a lot of people who don't post who still just engage with stuff.
Mhm.
Because, I track everything that I do, paid ads and everything. And like Facebook clicks are like crazy in comparison to Instagram and stuff. So often you'll see the demographics clicking and interested are older.
Mhm.
So I mean, these are people with money unless that's like totally not the demographic for your business, or you 100% know that that's them. They're not.
Yeah.
Really, like, yeah, to me, also, Facebook's like the hub of the whole meta world when it comes to doing paid ads.
Yeah.
It just it's who's seeing it based on who's clicking, and like let it do its thing because it does an amazing job at it. And it's like not even just putting stuff on Facebook and Instagram, it's off into their audience network as well. So yeah, in that way, it's a super powerful tool. So like people who just only have an Instagram account and don't even have Facebook for their we have both. They work in tandem together and they're super powerful together. So
Yeah, I mean, I post to both just because it's so easy. I start with Instagram and I have it just checked to post to Facebook, and you can post that their back end scheduler is pretty robust in terms of what you can
mhm.
do and what you can see and having everything in one spot. I used to find it super confusing about 7 or 8 years ago. My head would explode on where to find things, but they have made it much more user friendly, which which is
Yeah, it is you a little bit more user friendly. I mean, they still have the annoying habit of changing things every couple of weeks and putting it
I
in different
know.
places. But definitely the more you use it, the easier it gets. And yeah, it does save you a lot of time, and you can do the same content on both, but you can put that link on Facebook when you can't on Instagram, that kind of thing. That's really important.
I always find it a little ironic that Facebook changes things so much because their demographic is older who don't
Mhm.
understand the changes that they're doing, and it's like totally counterintuitive to know your audience, and they're like, "Yeah, we know
Yeah.
our audience is older, and we don't care."
Oh, yeah. I think they know how I think they know how loyal their audience is, and they're just gonna follow no matter what.
Yeah, so they have a big legacy and they're on those coattails.
Yeah.
And so what's a good ad strategy for Facebook? And also I had another question about LinkedIn advertising. How would you quantify each ad platform in terms of best usage? I know it's a little bit out of your scope, but you do have experience with ad campaigns and stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. So LinkedIn versus like Meta?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like each one has their merits and it depends on your business. Like usually a business that's very business to business does well on LinkedIn.
Hmm.
The cost of advertising on LinkedIn is way, way, way higher.
Mm,
Something to keep in mind. So you don't usually can't do as much playing around and trying to figure out things on LinkedIn. It's a little bit more of an investment. So you have to make sure your strategy is very strong. And then with Facebook, you there's the cost is so much lower. So there's a lot more opportunity to sort of try this, try that, test out this, and track your and that kind of thing. So definitely with the main thing about having an ad strategy is having a very clear goal and what track it. Make sure you're tracking what the results are. That you want to try something the next week and you want to see how did that perform in comparison.
mm,
Um, s- at times, like with small businesses, I hear like, just put some money on this and see how it does. Like it's just well, like what are you actually trying to get out of that? You have to really know that before you want to put any money behind it.
I remember in 2019. Now, this is going back a few years, obviously, but I really was testing Facebook ads, and I connected with another music school owner. He was in New Jersey, and he had a great strategy that was working for him. He was spending
Hmm.
$2,500 a month on ads, which for our
Oh,
industry I think, I thought it was a little too high because your strategy should be for our industry. You want retention from students. And so for me, it just seemed like there was a hole in his business model because if he has to spend 2,500, you need for our industry, you needed 25 students to just pay for the ads every month. And some of those will stay
wow.
on and continue to pay for them. And then so he contacted a big ad agency in LA, and their suggestion was to put $5,000 a month and they'll get more. But to me, it just seems like you're not getting good quality leads that way, or you're getting people who are not going to be true brand loyalists What do you think about that now, 7 years later?
Mm,
How would you quantify a good ad spend?
definitely, like, that seems like a lot to me,
I know,
especially in
same here.
2019. So, you need to follow through the whole strategy right to the point of, like, past social media. Social media is like your giant funnel at the top, right?
Yeah.
And then do you have other things that you need to be feeding in there, like, email marketing and stuff where you start to get into the people have now trusted you with their email address and things like that. And you're getting more better quality of leads as you go.
Mm,
And then once you have those students, how are you retaining those students? That's part of your strategy as well.
yeah.
Yeah. And knowing how many people, how much you had to spend and how many clicks you need to get before you get people to actually sign up. That's an important metric to know.
Hmm. I mean, I found what from my experience, my average lifetime customer was about 2 years. We had a really, really good retention rate, and still do to this day. And so as I said, I found it was a bit of a hole in the bucket. But what I noticed from those people who did sign up, because I did get people who the ads worked, they stayed for 2 months, and not one of them stayed for a longer duration. And I just and
Mm.
that's where, do you think the ad quality is going to bring a higher quality? I mean, the answer is yes, but in what ways do you think that people could refine their ads? Just get a good copywriter to get the message very succinct of who your customer is?
Yeah, sometimes people are sacrificing their leads based on trying to get as many as possible. So they come up with some sort of offer that's just so fantastic and cheap that you're getting all these people who are signing up not really for the right reasons and maybe not a good fit for the business.
Yeah.
So that's super important. Again, with your strategy, who are you trying to attract? No, and sometimes marketing companies will do that. They'll just get you as many leads as possible because then they can say, "Well, look, we got you all these leads." But it really comes down to knowing the business's actual goals. Like
Mm,
if you want, we're looking for this many students who are going to stay on for 2 years. That's our goal. Well, that's a very different goal than 2,500 new students.
yeah.
That's it. you know, any other caveats there. So,
Yeah. I remember back in 2018, 2019, around that time, Facebook used to have an expert advisor who you could call and speak to. And I'm all
uh-huh,
over that stuff because I always love learning. And I remember speaking
yep,
to this expert, and I said, "So if I put my ad in a location and I'm the only school that's in that location, does that mean everyone is going to come directly to my music school?" And she's like, "No, it doesn't quite work like that." She told me that what you're put into is a bucket of your ideal customer and what they're interested in. So what I learned was that I was competing with, if like my ideal customer at that time was a mom. She had 2 to 3 kids. She was a high income earner. There was a family income of 325,000 per year. They loved to travel. They loved these types of things. I was putting my stuff into that bucket. So let's say if, Tide detergent had the same customer profile, I would be competing
mhm.
with those businesses, not just industries specific businesses. Is that pretty much still true today?
It is different now because you used to sort of pick your buckets at the beginning, and
Right.
now it's very AI. So what you thought maybe were your ideal customer, you might not know, like something else in the mix that might be completely different. And it's all based on behaviors and who's clicking, and then they will send it out to more people like that. So it is more sophisticated for sure now.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, because I was
Yeah, I think
heartbroken. Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, used to used to make you put the onus more on you to choose who
Right.
you believe our ideal customer to be. And now with AI and being able to go with the behaviors of your actual audience, yeah, I think it's improved a lot, and it's definitely easier for people who aren't marketing people who just run a business. So that's good.
Yeah, that's definitely true too. I did find it frustrating that I had to go a minimum of 5 kilometers when I was radius, but I think now for some of them you can put in your postal code. Is that correct? You can do postal code areas.
You can put very specific, like you can put the address of your business and do like a 1 mile radius around it
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah, because I remember 5 kilometers when we were in Toronto, 5 kilometers, that was huge. And it was not ideal for me because I didn't really want people who were in downtown Toronto. We were midtown Toronto. It would take people like 40
Yeah.
minutes, 45 minutes to get to our location. It's not who I wanted. So that's good to know
Yeah.
that you can dial in your perfect location based, which is good for local, right? That's amazing for local.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, just a quick touch on AI. I just don't want to go too far into it, but it is something you can't ignore now. And how has
Mhm.
AI, you briefly mentioned about the ads, but will AI in a way kind of replace social media advertising in the sense that people would rather just be heard through Chat GPT or whatever their platform is, and they will know exactly where they want their person to go. I know that I have friends who have full-on conversations with Chat GPT and that they know what their likes are, what their aren't likes. So instead of saying to Chat GPT like I want to order pizza, it will be like it'll just order pizza because it knows the brand that that person knows. I know we're not there yet, but is it something
Mm.
that you think
Yeah.
people should be thinking about?
I do think that AI will continue to drive changes in that space. Like it's almost like what you're describing there is a bit more about like Google and Google
Mm,
search and that kind of thing. Whereas social media is become very much about like entertain me. Or sit here and just entertain me. I don't
right.
know who you are, where you're from, whatever, but just entertain me. And so, for businesses, we just try to fit into that world and be like, we're entertaining you too, and also come to our shop at our store at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back to radio, TV, like it's always been trying to get in there where everybody's watching and having fun. And by the way, we're here, shop here.
Yeah.
So I think that will continue on in whatever way. I mean, I think the content creation by AI is just not there yet. I mean, it's not authentic and people know immediately when it's AI, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen in that space. Is that going to continue to evolve to the point where you can't tell the difference? And that's
I,
probably going to change things a lot. I
yeah, I
think
know.
fundamentally,
As you,
sorry.
even though there are pictures of people with third arms, that's starting to go away, right? Like it is getting better and better, which is scary.
Yeah.
And I think I do look at it as an opportunity for, and now business owners need to be a bit more uncomfortable and get in front of the camera. Like that is going to be the future.
Yeah, I think the authenticness and the humanness is always going to be a sort of the top sort of content. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and the need for people to want to be entertained, that's never going to go away, or have stories told to them, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Where human history is filled with stories for sure. So that's a great way to go. So Hamilton Fempreneurs are going to the Women of Distinction on March the 5th. Are you still looking for people at your table?
We are, yes, yes. It'd be great if we could have more women business owners join us at our table. It's a nice little sort of networking opportunity, a fantastic event. One of my favorite events of the whole year is that Women of Distinction Awards. So yeah, that would be great.
Nice. Okay. So, if any female entrepreneurs out there, just get in touch with Suzanne and join. I know that people I've had on the show, Jody Laking is part of Fempreneurs. I also know My friend Sylvie is part of Fempreneurs. My wife is part of Fempreneurs. So it is a great organization with lots of resources, lots of answers. You give lots of answers through your networking events and through your social media, don't you?
Yeah, it's just a really great community, all women trying to just help each other survive and thrive in their businesses.
Yeah, that's so great. Well, Suzanne, thank you so much again for coming on. We're going to have a third one. I'm going to have to come up with new questions the more that I learn. I love all of your insights
Sure.
and your help. And I just love that you're always liking my stuff on social, which always makes me feel good.
Yeah, I think it's important to support each other as business owners and what we're trying to do, and even just a like can really help. So, if you're following businesses and you like them, just make sure you're doing that on social media. Just really helpful.
Yeah, it's so easy to like something. It's just a tap or a double tap. And yeah, I agree. All
Mhm.
right. Well, thank you very much. And we'll look forward to round three and enjoy your week.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take care.